Welcome back to another episode of the Jackrabbit Illustrated Podcast. We're excited to have you join us today. Before we dive in, we'd like to thank our sponsors who help make this all possible. First off, a great big thank you to our title sponsor again for 2024, the Kubota dealers of South Dakota. Whether it's tractors, mowers, utility vehicles, construction, or farm equipment, Kubota's got you covered. With 9 convenient locations across the state of South Dakota and 1 in northwest Iowa, there's always a Kubota dealer nearby. Stop by your local Kubota dealer and see all they have to offer. All A-Team shows are sponsored this year by Culver's of Brookings and Watertown, home of the Butterburger, fried cheese curds, signature root beer, and world-famous custard. Culver's, welcome to Delicious. Next, we'd like to recognize the support of our other A-Team podcast sponsors. Cubby Sports Bar and Grill, the best sports bar in South Dakota and home to the Jimmy Rogers Radio Show. Northwestern Mutual Wealth Management, see them for all your retirement and life insurance needs. And the Jackrabbit Former Players Association. And now, here is the A-Team.
Whoa.
What the heck,
Whoa.
Chad?
I told you.
Chad?
I just want everybody to remember what this feels like.
Oh, gosh.
He's
You didn't tell us you
strong.
were doing this. What the
No,
hell,
I didn't.
Chad?
I told you I was going rogue, didn't I?
This threw me
Wow.
for a loop. Get this trash out of here, Chad. Get it out of
You
here.
almost,
All right.
you almost made him swear. You almost made him swear.
Jeepers, criminy. All right,
That was
Chad, we're back on a Victory Sunday, Chad's last show.
I bet against that.
All right. Victory Sunday once again. Hopefully we have two more Victory Sundays coming at you this season. So with that, excited to be here. Jake is back. We got to thank our Kubota dealers of South Dakota. With winter coming up, make sure you get what you need, whether that's a blade and a side-by-side, or it could be a BX, series tractor with a snowblower, or if you're on a farmer ranch and you just need to upgrade your loader, tractor, whatever it may be, that they have something for you to fit your need. So swing into one of the 10 dealers in South Dakota and the one right across the border in Iowa, and they'll get you hooked up with what you need. So thank you, Kubota dealers of South Dakota. Also have to thank Culver's of Brookings and Watertown for your support. Obviously, we had the Rev on last week to tell us his favorite order, but Culver's is the best. I don't care what Rev says. It is the best, and it's delicious. And again, if you're going to Brookings or Watertown, be sure to swing into Culver's and get what you need, and bet some Scoopy tokens with your friends like Ben and Brendan always talk about. So thank you, Culver's of Brookings and Watertown, being one of our longtime sponsors here. Thank you, Ben, for being exact there. See, this is why we have engineers on the team. One more Victory Sunday, then a Victory Tuesday. Perfect.
Love it.
Perfect. Thank you.
clever.
Chad, you really threw me for a loop there.
Do you want to indulge me one more time here? I got something that I'd like to share.
What do you have to share now?
Well, okay. Here's the deal. We have partners that we don't necessarily always talk about. I just wanted to talk a little bit about our team that shares photos with us. David Bordweck has some amazing photos, and I just wanted to run through some of them from this week so people get a chance to see some of them because they don't always all get out there. Obviously, these are cool, right?
Cool.
That's an epic photo. Angel, look at the running lanes he had. That's wicked.
Amar, yeah. No Angel.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
That's what I meant. This is what Ariel wanted me to be. I've got a costume, but unlike this guy, I'm too fat for it. This is a cool moment, right? Let's talk about this just shortly. Dude gets his first touchdown. You know, who's the happiest people on the team? The other guys behind him. That's the love of our team right there. That's awesome. Of course, Captain 11, last at home win. Undefeated.
Man, go back to that photo. Look at those seniors right there.
And Miller.
Yeah, it's awesome, isn't it? Never lost a game at home.
Man, that's incredible.
Isn't that something? Yeah.
Kirby Truck and Voorhees, obviously one of my favorite players, had a good game. Tucker Large has been playing out of his mind this year.
Really good.
Since he came back. Dude's a weapon. You got crazy fans in there. Give it up to the students. You guys do a great job. The more of you, the merrier. You guys really bring the energy every week. There's some idiots that dress up in big hats.
I love that. There it is.
Obviously, this is a pretty iconic photo.
The goat. Yep.
The goat, right? It's awesome. I think he's quite honestly, he's pointing up to his family.
Yeah. Yep. That's where they were sitting.
Which maybe not everybody else is aware of.
Yep.
And then we got Hannah's our other photographer that we work with, and she provides some really good stuff too. Just wanted her. There's an awesome touchdown. Wildy Beast doing his thing. GFW. That one's kind of cool because it was shot in between. You don't normally see that. I think that's Durant's on his pick, isn't it?
Yep.
Because he's like one of these next pictures here.
Yeah, look at the joy.
Yeah. It's just awesome. Again, sorry. And of course, we love the pride. The pride shows up. You called it out on your rants and raves, and I just thought, that was fitting. And thanks for indulging me, for letting me share those, and we can go back to a regularly scheduled.
Let's start with the pride, just because that was a good tie in there. So Jake, when you played, they were always basically done the start of November or when it got cold. And so I'll never forget when Chris Hugard, who was a member of the drum line, showed up with some other drummers, and they were having a great time. But I just remember that it was just, I don't know, a dozen different drums that were there, and that was the pride for the game. And now they play all the way into mid-December here. Like, it is so cool. I forget. I don't know the account that tweeted about it last week during the Montana game, but some account did. Like, what a flex to have your band play between every play. Like, that's pretty cool. Sets a cool college atmosphere. Just terrific. So congrats to Pride on a great season on what you do. Thank you.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I actually recognize that. The last couple of weeks, I made a comment yesterday to one of the old guys, good buddy of mine, Eric Schroeder, played with me, and great guy, great player. And we both look to make, and it's kind of cool for him. I mean, he was a tough player, but now his daughter is big into band, big into like kind of a rock band thing back where he lives in Minneapolis area. And so he had like some appreciation for it. His daughter was there watching it. And again, to have it this late in the season, like the culture of South Dakota State too, I would call out that even when we played, Coach Stig, it was win or lose, you walked over pissed off face or not, and you stood in front of the pride and you clapped and you sang the school song. That was very, very important to Coach Stig, and something we did. And so I think just to respect the student body and the pride as a whole, but then to see what they're doing this late in the year, to your point, when it's cold. I mean, think of running around getting your feet stepped on, but then also holding on to a cold trumpet or something like that. That can't be fun either.
Just the mouthpiece,
yeah. So I mean, but again, the atmosphere it brings. I know we'll talk all we want about the attendance, and I don't disagree with that. But I would say for the people that were there was a great energy. That was awesome. I will say the people that were there were having fun. They were into it. We were excited. I mean, that first touchdown by Griffin was crazy. I mean, people were going nuts, which was fun. Again, like that much energy and excitement this late in the year when it's cold. Just a healthy culture that we've built.
Indeed. All right. So kind of can kick it off from there. The tailgating was really good. Chad and Brendan got to Brookings super early. Had the tent set up by 6:30 probably?
It was a little before that, but yeah, I mean, no, it was a little before that. We got in about 10 after 6. I mean, having everything fully set up, probably about 6:30, but we had tents up at probably 15 after. It just takes a while to get them all set up,
Yeah. Yep. And then Brendan made some terrific brisket.
Man.
So that was really good.
Thank you,
Seth Meyer.
Yep. For providing some of that. Yeah, that was awesome.
Yep. Brendan is just terrific at making brisket. And it was fun just to he had 2 different kinds of cuts. One was trimmed really well and one wasn't trimmed at all, and just kind of taste sample in there. He had his friends from Texas there, so he really wanted to show out and show off a little bit. But good job, Brendan. Delicious brisket. In terms of the crowd there, that was a great crowd, Chad. The tent was full. You're hospitable as always, so good job on that. And then we got into the stadium. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it was Zach from the FCS Triumvirate. That was the Texas guy that stopped by. And we also had Sam Herder stop in, as he does basically yearly now, usually for a playoff game. I think he enjoys the fact that he can stand in the tent and not be cold. So we had 2 big heaters going. Putting shots were good. I don't know what else to say. Fun was had by all. It was a good time.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for stopping by. It is so much fun meeting you all when you come up and just introduce yourselves, and really appreciate that. Appreciate you listening, and lets us know that's just not my mom out there watching. So thanks. So.
Your mom seemed to enjoy the tailgate as well. She was having a good time.
Yeah, she wasn't there this week. They weren't there this week. So
that was last week. Wow,
that was last week. I know. She went crazy on the pudding shots. So settle down, Mom. But no. But inside the stadium itself, Jake, I'm with you. Really good energy. I thought, the playoff crowds, as everyone's pointing out, playoff crowds are awesome. The energy was great. The Incarnate Word kids were fired up too. So that was fun to see. I know they went shirtless in the warm-ups. A few of them did.
My favorite.
Right, the kiss of death. But they played hard. They did play hard. So got to give them some credit on that. Dallas, how the heck are you?
Excellent. One, forget you two. I see you every week. Jake, wonderful to see your face. What's up, buddy?
Yeah, how you guys doing? Good to be back.
That was a nice way to say that. Isn't there a song called "Forget You"? Is that what you meant? No.
Prodigal son, he's here. I'm just happy to see him.
The prodigal son. Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure. I appreciated it. I am good. I don't know. I'm not sure what point we're at here, but my kid running this weekend is all-American level.
Awesome.
We had three hockey games yesterday, managed to catch almost all of the Jacks game.
Wow.
Hockey party last night, and then I took Hudson and 3 of his buddies up to do the prep red zone thing up in the Twin Cities today. Cool. And also got to see my former teammate Bo Johnston, another defensive end, was a year older than me. He's got 2 boys that are Hudson's age. So got a picture, sent it to Stig. Very cool thing. And we have nothing to do with prep red zone and take it or leave it, whatever. But our experience today, really good. Hudson had a great showing and had a lot of fun and got called out at the end in the one-on-ones. And it was cool. Enjoyed it.
That's awesome. Good job, Hudson.
Yeah.
Hud's a dude. We know that.
Yeah. We can't get in trouble for being fans of his, right? For like,
no.
God,
no.
I mean, he's our friend's kid. How can we? How can we?
He's upstairs. I can go get him if you want.
Right.
That really put him on the spot.
He's 16, so it wouldn't be terribly entertaining to hear him talk. But
yeah, we can have Chad try to start a conversation with him again, like last year.
Well, I've already thrown this podcast way off. We entered garage time like the B team on the dawn of the podcast because I put up a picture that threw Matt off so bad he didn't know what was going on. So.
Nice. So sorry I was late. Our tree has had just lights for 2 weeks, and we finally, the 4 of us that are still at home, we're here at the same time, and we had like half an hour or so we decorated the tree. So that's where I was, but I'm here.
Tree trimming's fun, man.
Yeah, very happy to talk rabbits. My God, this team is in a good place. Holy cow.
Yeah. So Jake talked a little bit about the energy, right away, and how the crowd was small, but great energy in the stadium. And we talked tailgate quick. We were just getting into the stadium now for the game. And that's when you joined. So
cool.
What do you want to talk? Initial impressions on offense, defense? Where do you want to go? Let's
see. I actually, for the first time, I had to listen to most games on the radio. So I actually got to watch and take some notes. So I don't know. Let's talk offense a little bit if that works.
Yeah.
So initial thoughts. My biggest takeaway was very surprised that Angel didn't play. I don't think anybody knew that was coming. We were surprised by it. He was listed as number 2 on the 3 deep, but on TV they said he hadn't on TV they said he hadn't practiced all week, which that's definitely news to I think anybody here. So I don't know if that was the case, if they misspoke, whatever, but that was a surprise not seeing Angel. But Amar, the first thing I wrote down that I made
What
a note of. Well, patience. We've talked about it all year, but patience to the point where there was like 3 times that I'm drinking a beer at 11:30 in the morning going, just go, because he would wait and wait and wait. And man, credit to the Hogs for, being able to create separation and create gaps like that in space on zone runs. But my God, he just tiptoe, wait, count to 15, read a book, then find a crease and go. And it was a clinic. And then sorry, my other thought too on the run game early was watching that. You know how much I hate giving the furry cows any sort of credit or props, but it felt to me like watching those mid 20 teens bison teams where you're like, that's going to go for 30 in the fourth quarter. That's going to go for 40 in the third, in the third quarter. Like, it's just wait and wait and wait. And like, because everything is one shoestring tackle. And as soon as that guy loses juice on defense, that kid's gone. And you know what? It happened. So that was cool.
Yeah.
We talked about the exact same things in the stands too, as far as the patience behind the line. And then, you know how it is when you're in the stands, you get those text messages and all of a sudden, TV's saying Amar's out or Angel's out. Gosh, I keep saying the wrong one. My apologies.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if he caught Rants and Raves, but I'm going to bring it up because I knew Amar's been on a heater lately. So I just went and kind of looked back and kind of when he picked it up, it seemed like, following that UND game, I think Angel had a big UND game. But in the last 6 games, 607 yards on 81 carries and 6 TDs, 7.5 yards per carry on 81 carries. Like, that's bananas. Like that's just incredible production. And that's against Missouri Valley defenses for the most part. So crazy.
Yeah. And we talked about it early in the season, I think, just about, this team getting momentum, getting kind of the energy, getting a rhythm together, a lot of new guys. And I think obviously the last 6 weeks, I think you called it out in Rants and Raves, Matt, just from the standpoint of not just Amar and his patience, his vision, Dallas touched on that. That's so fun to watch, number one, because you just look and you think, all right, he's stuck. And then all of a sudden 4, 5, 6, 7 yards, first down, if not more. But then on top of that, like the physicality and the confidence of our O-line. Those 605 Hogs right now at this point, like, and I know I missed last week, but that's one thing I'd even comment against historically and this year, a strong frontline team. Like, we dominated the line of scrimmage. I think that's where like the O-line and D-line especially is just, this time of year to come. And like I said, keep doing this peak and continuing to get to this level has been really good. But man, like that, I agree with you 100%, Dallas. That is just so fun to watch him just kind of seem like he's stuck reading a book and then boom, there it is. So good stuff right now.
Yeah. On offense too, Mark completed 7 passes, but 4 of them were touchdowns, something like that, something crazy.
I was curious. I did want to get to how do we feel about his game, because I can't say I broke down any, the incompletions, the pick, Matt, you hit the nail on the head there. I think to anybody that watches ball, that was obvious that was not on Mark. That was a misread. That's something they'll get corrected on that. Griffin either stopped or again, on the RPO thought he was going to run the ball. And that's something that in the past, we didn't see that because we had guys that have played together for 3-4 years. That'll get corrected. Not a big deal. But to have that few completions, but still look pretty damn good. And to have that just piss missile, those bombs locked in with Wildy. That feels really good going into this time of the season.
Yeah. He had 3 of those incompletions right in the second quarter, right before halftime as well.
At the end zone.
Right. I didn't like those play calls necessarily.
No, everyone was in the run the damn ball mode, right?
Yeah. So
it was like they were going to complete that play, whether it worked or not, and it didn't.
they tried to 3 different players, so like it just was an interesting.
The same position.
Yeah, right. Same spot on the field. Didn't work. So
not to yes, to completely overthink this because it's what we do. You almost wonder, like, you try to get in the coordinator's head, and there's certain points where, nobody's overlooking the opponent. The game wasn't done yet, blah, blah, blah. But there's still things that you're thinking ahead. To me, if I was a professional, and I'm not, God knows I'm not an offensive coordinator, holy shit. But if you're thinking ahead, right, and going, okay, we need to try this, we need to get this look, we need to see how this happened. Like, it's possible to me that they were going like, try this, to get some looks for following weeks for stuff that they want to set up. Or when you get to a certain point and you play a team you've played a billion times, sometimes you want to put certain things on tape if you're playing the game of chess and put, again, I have no idea if that's the case, but it's possible.
Yeah. Good point.
I'd call out what Pat Whitty just said there. Like, I think that's a huge component, obviously his history and his success and time here, but like as a game manager, like that is just so important, I think, in the huddle, like the confidence and leadership that he kind of brings to that. So again, I think, we don't know what's going on from the strategy, the play call and the coordinators, but to have that confidence is something that you cannot replace in the huddle from a leadership standpoint. That I think is right now a lot of, maybe overcasting the 7 for 16, but it's probably is more important than anything. And again, what makes Mark the forefront of the Mount Rushmore Jackrabbit football, right? I mean, that's what it is. So
Jake Tuck just had a big catch. So yeah.
Go.
Nice.
I thought you liked my comment that much. But I don't know.
So we talk.
So did I.
No, you're absolutely right. But we talk about Mark. We talk about Amar. We talk about Griffin. None of it would be possible without the 605 Hogs truly dominating yesterday, resetting the line of scrimmage, creating these lanes for which Johnson to run through, Chad?
Amar.
There we go.
Amar.
All right. Perfect.
Good job this week, A. You're going to start picking A. Johnson for player of the week.
Hey, I have to apologize, Jamal. I know the difference. They look way different out on the field and different running styles even. So,
yep. Yeah.
Cow.
So I know, Chad, you're going to give me shit eventually for it, but the game ball offensively did go to the 605 Hogs just for their work. Incarnate Word came in with 38 sacks on the season. And I think they gave up maybe one cheap sack to Montana. But otherwise, have been terrific against two really aggressive fronts the last 2 weeks. So I know you don't like it, but it's happening anyway. So 605 Hogs, terrific
Cop
play.
out. It's a cop out.
I think it makes total sense the way that they put it together. I was going to mention, I haven't had any time to go back and rewatch, but the first quarter interior line did struggle with some stunts a little bit. I don't know if you guys noticed that or not, but the ends getting in on the guards and guards between Gus happened on 3 or 4 plays in the first quarter. And it seemed, I'm not sure what it was, but they got it buttoned up and there it didn't end up being a consistent problem, but that's something to keep an eye on.
Interesting. Good observation.
Yeah. I just didn't know if we're switching to game balls already or what.
No. We've been talking about everyone else, but we're 20 minutes into the show and talking about the big guys.
So, okay, we probably should prep and call this out correctly. The Lions won this game, and I think we knew it coming in that's our advantage. We know that the University of the Incarnate Word or whatever all those prepositions, however you say it properly. Again, very good team, great athletes. They did exactly what we talked about last week. They spread the hell out east and west. They work the edges. They're going to make a ton of 3 to 5 yard completions. You have to be able to tackle, right? Athletes match up pretty darn well. They've got those like spidery FBS transfer looking guys, but Lions owned the game and it wasn't even close. And they did it from the jump. And they won it. Yeah.
And then it was really fun to see David Alpers get out in space.
Yes.
I did like that. That guy can move. Like, I know there was no one around him. It was busted coverage, but he's got some speed on him. So that bodes well for his future. I like seeing that.
Yeah, the tight end room is stacked and happy for that. We need to find a way to get him the ball some more. But when Griffin Wilde is catching 50-yard bombs left and right, and he's that open. How are you gonna convince me as an O coordinator to throw to my tight ends who are just giving Mark extra time to drop them dimes way downfield?
There was so much time for him to throw the ball.
Yeah.
It was absurd how much time once we got further into really from the beginning, but certainly second quarter on, the amount of time he could have done anything he wanted. Just, waiting to release that thing.
Almost enough time to give him player of the game.
Funny. All right. Anything else for offense? We can come back, but
I'll call out something that I think is important just from the standpoint of both offense and defense, the whole thing, but like just to recognize like how good of a spot we're in. And I know you guys gave me a little hard time this year sometimes when, we're being a little critical here and there, and that's fine. Again, you got to think I come from the days of practicing in the Fifth Street gym, getting ready for a playoff game.
I'm older than you, buddy.
100%. That's what I'm saying. Like, what a good spot South Dakota State is in our football program. And I think like that's something like we're about to embark on our third semifinal, and how many, 12 years in a row of playoffs, potential to win a third national championship in a row. And I think just the idea that, we have the indoor facility, we have the stadium, we have, again, the fans, the attendance isn't great. I think we can call that out. That's definitely something that is tough. But I think just to recognize like how good of a spot we're in, the coaches putting our guys, like it's a grind. Like these guys have been doing this since August, man. Like the same freaking drills, the same practice routine, putting on shoulders. I mean, that's a grind. And I think like that's something that we've been able to put ourselves in a position as a university and as a program with good coaches, good facilities to make this healthy for everybody, and also put a good product on the field that's winning, that's healthy. Just a fun thing to recognize. Like I just don't think I think we do, but I think it's fun to say like how great of a spot South Dakota State football's in.
Yeah. Agreed.
Rant over. So
I enjoyed your TED Talk. Thank you.
I think that was a rave. Yeah. That was a rave.
It's just fun. It's just
it was.
Yeah. It was a rave.
I've got another offensive question here that I'd written down. When Chase comes in early, great to see him back. So he fumbled the ball. You could see on the replay, he saw the end zone and got over giddy and did not hang on to the ball. Like clearly that's what happened. He saw 6 points and thought he could slip in between there because he's a freak athlete. How do you feel he responded to that?
Yeah, good. I mean, good.
Fine. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Like it. I don't know.
I'd agree. I'd agree. I don't know that I'm looking for anything earth shattering, but it was to me, like, again, you're somebody that we rely on. We know we're going to count on big time the next 2 years. He is out for a while, comes back, looks like he has a good play, and then that happens. And I mean, you can't take for granted how someone is going to respond to that.
Jimmy said they were just going to use him sparingly to begin with, just get him knock the rust off. And I think that's what they accomplished,
Yep.
And I think because the way with our mental performance coach, Chris Kroc, and all the other things the team preaches about next play, last play, I think it didn't phase him. It's just a play. Things happen. The ball just started to slip up and it popped out.
Yep.
And the defender made a play on it too. So
and you saw he corrected on his next carry. He had both hands on the ball when contact was coming. I don't like that he's still limping, but I guess Jake, you're probably at the point in the season, right, where no one's 100% healthy, anyways.
And I mean, I think that's, like I said, we sometimes maybe overlook the grind, and again, looking at this, I remember getting to, the third week of fall camp and thinking, holy smokes, this is the, fall camp's a different beast. That was back in the 2-a-days too. But, I think like that's the thing, like bodies are getting beat up, but the resources we have, Jack called out our mental health coach and performance coach. And I think you look at Coach Jacobs in the strength program and everything else that we have, like those guys are so vital right now. And Jimmy knows that. Like I will give that a ton of credit. Stig knew that too. It's just a different era of, you guys see that probably as more than anything, Dallas, right now with your kid in high school. Like strength and conditioning and sports performance is a whole nother level than it was when we were, put heavy weight on your back and squat, that's what it was back in the day. Now it is so much
different.
injury prevention, and those guys do a good job. Jimmy's bought into that. And I think that we're seeing the results of that, like investing into what that looks like. And it's so important this time, like that carries you into the playoffs to a semifinal national championship, long season. So
quick sidebar, when you're talking about coaching staff, I in the last 3 weeks have talked to 3 or 4 other football dads from various parts of Minnesota, and for different reasons they all had unbelievably kind things to say about the South Dakota State coaching staff. From the one of them was talking about the prospect camp and how well run that was and how pleased they were with that. So it was the best one they did. Another one talked about the team camp, that they just said that it was, I don't know, they were happy with the instruction, the efficiency of it. They just loved our coaching staff. Another one has a kid that was going through the recruiting process, and he said that he specifically called out Chris Croct and said that this guy's unbelievable. How do you have him still, was essentially what they said. And just what a difference that he makes. And he apparently gets to talk to all of the recruits for, as long as he wants, basically. So they get a feel for that. And obviously the parents really like hearing that, my kid's not just a piece of meat. You're going to develop him as a human being, help him understand how to think, how to solve problems, how to come back from adversity, blah, blah, blah. So it was really cool. And this was unsolicited. Obviously, I probably was wearing Jack's gear at the time, but still somebody going out of the way to tell me kind things about the coaching staff was really cool.
That is awesome.
Yep.
On the ticket front, have a number of people in the chat talking about tickets. It likely is sold out already or very close, just singles, it sounds like Tim's saying. They will release student tickets here. When do they release them? Thursday, Friday?
Usually, yeah.
And then I'm sure there'll be some season ticket holders coming back too. So
yeah, right.
There will be tickets.
There'll be some tickets coming on. It'll probably be Wednesday. I think they probably want to get rid of them right away.
Yeah. So, it should be good. I don't know. So anyways, lots of chatter in the about tickets. So if you want to go look before or while you listen to us jabber, go ahead. Defensively, I loved how physical we were. We were so dang physical on the boundary. I mean, Jake, you talked about all the speed that they had in Dallas, kind of the spidery athletes and stuff. That's maybe what we missed in the first game, in my opinion. Again, I talked about the bubble screen that's scarred in my memory, that they scored on a bubble screen on us, because that shit just never happens. And you could tell from the start. I think they tried to throw one and Kobe Humphrey blew it up right away, and you could hear the smack on the pads. It was right against Incarnate Word's sideline there. So just the physicality that Dallas and Kobe and Steven played with, and Tucker Large right up on the line of scrimmage.
Tucker Large played like he wanted to kill someone. There was a couple of plays where he came in scraping off the edge as hard as I've seen a safety play in a long time.
Awesome.
No, it was a very, very physical game. You mentioned the being surprised on the bubble screen. I'm having a flashback now. Did you watch back on TV, Matt?
For which game?
Yesterday.
I watched the first half this morning.
I swear one of the commentators mentioned Jack's fans being surprised at being scored on a bubble screen, which made me wonder if they had read or listened to some of our stuff.
Yeah, right.
At some point, one of them did.
I mean,
just never happened.
Selling shirts down in Texas and all over.
But it was fun watching though the kind of the chess game with Incarnate Word trying to figure out what to do, because all through this season with this defense, we've watched offenses give up on the run at various points. Some of them give up immediately. Some of them wait for most of the first quarter, but at some point they're going to go, we can't run on this. It's not worth it. And, and that happened pretty quickly. So we knew that, again, they alternate. Incarnate Word, if you watch any of their tape from the full season, it's a mix of a lot of that, tunnel screen, lateral movement, spread everybody out in space, do that, and then take a deep shot, and do that a couple plays and take a deep shot. They very much, I think they tried to take more deep shots early than I expected. Yep. And our coverage 100% forced them into those short shots. We had lockdown coverage beyond about 7 or 8 yards basically all day. It was really impressive.
Yep.
They had one deep shot that they missed over the middle, heading towards the north end zone. And another one that hit a guy in the hands and he just dropped it. So I remember turning around to my dad and saying, I hate when it hits me in the hands.
And then Durant's picked the one. So
So obviously we're squarely onto the defense.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that defensive line, Matt. I'm sure you've got something to say about a position group.
Yeah, right. Right. Defensive line. Again, energy. Kobe Claiborne, Dawson Ripperda, Bryce Hawthorne. My gosh, like just playing like their hair's on fire. And we talk about this 12-man rotation that they have on the defensive line all season long, this incredible depth. Here's where it shows because guys are still pretty fresh. Like compared to maybe their defensive line, which played 8 guys, and a lot of the guys were out on the field the whole time. Our guys sub in just so, freely. Like it just, I don't know. Dallas and Jake, I shouldn't be talking about this. This is your guys' area.
No, I'm enjoying the hell out of this. Keep going. Tell us how good they are.
No, I mean, just Kobe Claiborne just jumps.
He's so fun.
Like he's just fun because he just flies around.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna, and not just the front four, the front line. It's the entire defense, like the energy and like the pursuit that they have. Like you probably remember this, Dallas, the old pursuit drill type stuff that you do in college. And I think like anytime you got a Jimmy Rogers coach team, like that's going to be a strong point because that was his strong point. Like that's what he excelled at was just energy. Like he played hard all the time, and I think like that's what his defenses have mimicked his whole career as a coach. And I think like we continue to see that. And now that we've got this many guys that are good and you can just rotate that many guys in that can play that fast this late in the year, what a fun game to watch from like a defensive perspective. And, I give credit to not only to that defensive line and like we said, like their ability just to make plays, but even Bach and the linebackers, like I think their ability to lead and make, put our defense in good positions based off of just filling holes and filling gaps. I mean, that's kind of the unsung hero sometimes on the defensive front is the Chris Johnsons of the world and the Adam Bachs that just fill gaps. And I think like that was who I was watching a lot is Bach, man. And that guy is just so good at that. That's my defensive player of the game.
One of the funniest plays, I don't remember who it was. We had a corner, I think it was corner safety. Somebody out on the left-hand side of the defense. The ball gets out to the edge. He's able to wrap him up, gets the guy kind of on his chest. Bach comes in like he is going to oh my God. Like a freight train. Dude makes a business decision, just flops on his back as fast as he can so Bach can't hit him. I played that back like 4 times. God, that was funny.
It was Tucker that had him. It was Tucker that had him around the ankles. Yeah.
Dude, he is just one solid muscle. I mean, I know he's been around
the exact same thing.
I mean,
you just
that
was a business decision. Sorry.
Yep.
Dude, he's just a freak.
He is. Kyle Sheehan's called it out. Bach's curl game is strong.
Sheehan would know that. That was what Sheehan was good at. I know he's listening, so he can hear that.
Yeah,
some guys focus on bench and curls only. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, he doesn't. He does. Kyle does full body, but he doesn't skip curl day either.
Ryan Effling here asking about Francel's injury.
Oh, yes.
So Darren Amick, I saw posted on Rants and Raves or commented he was sitting right behind the bench where they're looking at him. An ankle turn. No idea how severe. I'm sure he's going to rehab the heck out of it all week. And they'll try to get him out there. But, if he can't go, Dayton McGoy is a great option. Chase Van Tol is a great option. So we'll see what happens. So
cool. Nope. Hope for the best. Very grateful for the depth that we have in that position. Back to the line really quick. I had one other note I wanted to call out because, again, defensive line, frequently you impact plays. You don't get your name called in the stat sheet. Zach Wilson. I thought he played a hell of a game. I don't even know what his stats were if he had any at all. Couldn't tell you. but
Said
he
the
was
one
very
sack.
active.
One
Okay,
tackle.
Impacted a ton of plays. Specifically, I want to make sure that we get at the efficiency that the Jacks had on 3rd and 4th down. My God, there was a critical 3rd and 3 early on where Zach forced a quick throw and an incompletion that was completely on him. Got inside of his guy, made Calzada make a bad decision. And I just, again, that's the sort of thing that on the D line that typically you're not going to hear about. So I thought he played a great game.
One thing before I forget and before we move on, I don't want to go too far down this rabbit hole. But Incarnate Word's good receiver, or one of their good receivers, Jalen Wattall, announced that he's coming back to Incarnate Word, which is just huge, right? It's just awesome. Like there's been too many good FCS caliber players hopping in the portal. So to have someone of his caliber choosing to come back, because I'm sure he has options.
Yeah.
Good for him. Thanks for sticking with the FCS, man.
Can I soapbox on that just real quick? Not that there's any players that will ever hear this, but if you're an FCS player and you're thinking about jumping, thank you for highlighting me, thinking about jumping in the portal in the year that the FBS is reducing their roster limit to 105, don't do it. I get it. Everybody's got different reasons to jump in the portal, and I'm not saying that everybody that did it is a bad decision, but there's going to be some very, very good football players that are not on a roster come next fall in 2025 because of the number of humans that are going to hit the portal from that roster reduction. Thank you for listening to my rant. I'm done. It scares me. Like I feel as a dad of a football player, like that's the sort of thing that it makes me feel really worried for some of these guys that they aren't going to find a home because there's more, more inventory than there is buyers probably this year. It's going to be weird.
Right. Hey, so Adam Harms is asking, it's still the same 5 that I've pointed out before. And I'm not even sure that Miles Taylor is in the portal or if he's just done, retired. I don't know. I just know that he's no longer on the roster. But it's the 4 that we know. Jalen Lee, Dawson Rudd, Brody Gormley, Cullen McShane. So, and then Miles Taylor no longer on the roster. So he could be medically retired. I don't know.
Adam Harms asked, what do you have for portal tracker going on for our team? For those listening on the podcast.
Oh, thank you, Chad. Thank you. My bad.
Listening, yeah. Well, so I have one thing to say, not to go on. I'm not going to go on a full on rant. But
big screen, Chad. Big screen.
No.
What about,
I got to move him first.
Big screen.
There we go. All right.
He's just so off center. It's hard, man. It's like he's trying to get off screen.
My thing is again, back to what I ranted on a little bit earlier about how great of a position Jackrabbit football is right now. And like to appreciate not only the culture the university has given us, but also the coaching staff. And I think we have players that stay not for 6-figure deals. We had a comment here that comes from a 6-digit number. I get that money's going to talk, but there's also something to be said that when you get pissed off as a college player and you say, I'm just going to go play somewhere else, like that's a real thing that players feel. And like our culture, I think, has put us into a position to say like we're able to get guys to buy into last play, to 1-0, to third down efficiency, to holding teams under 10 points, these cultural things that Coach Rogers and the guys have built. And I think that is so important. And almost, again, money talks. I'm not saying that's not important, but I think that's also another thing that is our culture as a program keeps guys around. And that's another area right now that we look at Jackrabbit football, in the next 2, 3, 4 years, we've seen the chaos of college football. Like if you have any impact, if you have any ability to make an impact, now is the time to do it. From Jackrabbit football, whether it's a future collective, whether it's getting involved, going to the games, now is the time to get involved because this is going to be a crazy 2-3 year window. And we're in a good spot, but we got to stay in a good spot.
Damn.
Rant over.
That was good.
Agreed. No, very good.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
All right. We better get moving if we're going to talk about NDSU a little bit. Anything else? For the special teams is awesome. Special teams is awesome. Chad, go ahead.
Yeah. One last thing. Did anybody after, I think it was Durant. Yeah, it was Durant's pick. Did anybody else catch the offensive player after he got knocked down on the ground? I pointed it out to Durant. It was epic. He got up and he just stood there like, what the fuck just happened? because he fully expected that ball in his hands, fully, and his arms kind of went out at his side, and it just stood there in disbelief as Durant's barreled down the sideline. I think he got back to the 16 or something, but it was one of the greatest things.
I didn't see it.
It's not on. You'd have to have the all 22, to see that. So maybe if a coach out there wanted to highlight that and send it to us.
Or if they would just let us watch that and break it down, we would and do a better job at our jobs. Our jobs that we don't get paid for. Yeah. Sorry, real quick. I've got another thing. I know we're trying to move on, but off of Jake's comment there on the NIL stuff, they on the TV broadcast, they called out everybody knows about Mark getting offered 7 figures. We've all heard that. That's unbelievable. What a dude, sticks around. They said that 8 other guys had been offered 6 figures. I've never heard that, but they said it on the TV broadcast. 8 Jackrabbits got offered 6 figures this last year that turned it down.
I don't know if that broadcast was 100% accurate. They were saying the heaters were freezing up on the UIW's side, but they just don't understand that propane tanks get moistures that freeze on them when a lot of propane comes out of them.
Sure.
So I don't know. Was that accurate? I don't know.
It is. I don't know that that's necessarily related to them knowing information on other players getting offered that they would have gotten from the coaches.
Because it sounded like that came from Jimmy, like the little bit that I heard of it.
Yeah. So
really. Yeah. I mean, I think we can assume Chase, Griffin, Amar, some of those guys. Maybe
last year's guys. I think Garrett just called out there. Yeah.
Well, it's in anybody with an offer. If they're also, there's profit sharing now. Once you get, so if you're playing at a Big Ten school, you're probably making a couple $100,000 if you're starting minimum.
Yep.
And just in profit sharing salary.
It calls out South Dakota State to we have to get creative in some regard, whether it's the football program, the university, to come and you even look at Nebraska. I would consider that probably one of the more prominent obviously schools in the region here, and I think their NIL was only in the 5 to 7 range. Not that that's a bad amount, but I think it's also that number is only going to triple in the next 5 years.
Right.
So if Nebraska's doing 15 mil, what's the standard for us? What is success for us in a collective? It's never going to be enough unless we start now. Figure something out.
Yeah, I got to figure something. So, all right. Geez, we talked about portal, talked about NIL, man.
All the hot spots.
We have
lots to talk about. This is a big time of year, man.
Yeah, this is great. All right.
It's a hot topic.
Yeah. So, luckily on Friday night, we left town early, and I was lucky enough to take Miles to Cubby's for the first time in his life. He thought it was so cool. All the TVs, all the Jackrabbit stuff. He was asking me all the different players who had jerseys up on the wall. That was really cool just to kind of see that. I did the J Italian nachos, and they were delicious. They were good. I'm still not a nacho guy. But luckily Miles got wings and waffle fries, and I bummed some of those. So that was good. It was a packed house. Really cool to see everyone that's been tagging us in the Italian nachos post. Keep that up all through the month of December here. Cubbies will donate $2, I believe, from the purchase of each one towards Alex's lemonade stand, towards Mark, which we're going to just crush people. We're just going to crush the competition with that one, which is pretty fun, pretty cool to see. But thank you, Cubbies, for your continued support and all you do for SDSU and Jackrabbit fans all over. So thanks. And with that, game balls. Chad, you predicted Mark. You were probably the closest because Rev and I predicted Stoffel. Dallas predicted Angel. So I think you're the default winner on that. I did go with the 605 Hogs. So what? First time in his life.
What? Being down at Cubbies.
Oh, okay.
Oh, she's talking about.
Only 8.
Yeah. That's almost a preteen. She's not wrong there.
Yeah,
anyway, giving it to the 605 Hogs, I kind of got to let it slide, but because of the 605 Hogs, my pick, Amar Johnson, whose name I got right, had a day. and that's what I'm going with Lamar.
Okay. Dallas, Adam Harms is dogging you in the chat again here. Yeah.
I saw that, and completely fair and expected, Adam. No bad blood at all. I appreciate you looking out for me.
Gosh. All right. Defensively, I went with Steven RL. You could definitely give it to Bach. Rev predicted Bach. I think you could give it to any of these guys. Francel, Dayton, Beanham, Bach. But I went with RL just for that punch out, just because it was so intentional how he did it and really turned the tide. I don't think Incarnate Word would have scored there, but man alive, it was nice to kind of double up and win those middle 8 minutes, right, Dallas? You always talk about. So,
yes, agreed.
Yes.
And they did that.
Yeah. All right. Special teams, I went with Dante Johnson. He was a menace on the coverage stuff. Anthony Polano, too, the true freshman on kick coverage. They tried to run that reverse. He stuffed it. So that was cool to see. He does not look like a freshman out there. Trey Ridley was in on that too. Also a true freshman. Future's bright, folks. Oof.
Oh, it really is. I appreciate you keep an eye on the special teams coverage like that. That's just like I always try to retweet the Scouties of the week because that is such a fun thing to me to keep an eye on. And being a scout team member is such a thankless thing, especially we never played this late in the season, but assuming at this point in the season, it's even harder to have that kind of focus and effort to help get the rest of the team ready. So no, that's cool, man.
Well, I mean, like, honestly, it started with Dalton Cox, right? Like that's who one of the first people I remembered being just like a menace. Don Gardner was right there doing it. Preston Tetzlaff eventually was one. Kevin Brenner. So you just like see these guys come through, these high energy, high effort guys. And it's like, oh man, there's something special there. I like that. So that's why I watch so closely.
Which is why we've talked about it a million times, why we are so unbelievably deep at safety and linebacker, because that's who's making those plays usually.
Yeah. All right. Chad, you want to talk about Northwestern Mutual?
Sure. Northwestern Mutuals are preferred sponsor for all things insurance, life insurance, and investing. I know I got a complete review with an insurance agent this last week on all my financial stuff. And it was an old classmate from high school who didn't recognize me. And after I'd gotten through all the things, she's like, so you don't need a lot of help. And I'm like, nope, I understand finances. And if you want to understand your finances, you need to get yourself down to Chris Schenkel down at Northwestern Mutual, and he'll get you set up with a quality agent or himself, and they'll take care of you. And next time you get bothered by your auto insurance agent about whether or not you should have this or that, you can impress that person because there's nothing they can tell you that you don't already know. So hit up Northwestern Mutual.
Nice.
Life insurance and propane expert. So, Chad, you are so versatile. Man, love it.
I know a thing or two, but football maybe not so much.
Oh, gosh, stop. Yes, you do. All right.
I just wanted to also point out Hunter Dustman, 69-yard punt. I mean, you can't get any better than that punt ever. That's the perfect punt right there.
Nice. Yeah, he had the driver up for that one. So yeah. All right. Yeah. So NDSU beat Mercer. Pretty good game there. Shout out to Kevin. It was good. Kevin kind of called it, that their defense was really good. Their offense was going to struggle. We all kind of knew that as well. I thought it was going to be a little more even of a blow up, but Mercer did keep it close, kept it competitive. I thought more so than I thought it was going to be, I guess. So anyways, their first round matchup, who'd they beat? Was it Abilene Christian? Yeah. Abilene Christian, they beat in the first round. Neither game's been super pretty for NDSU, but they have won, and they've won big in both of them. It's going to be fun to go back up there. This is exactly, Dallas, when you, me, Brendan, and Alex did the MVFC preview.
Yep.
This is what Brendan and I predicted, that we were going to lose the regular season matchup, get to go back up there in the playoffs, and we were going to get to win. So
I wanted to call that out. So did I, because I was gone. I wasn't on the week of the controversy where you picked them to win during the regular season.
Oh my gosh!
No, I'm
Link to
just
the
not. I don't
contrary.
want to. No, I don't want to get into it.
gosh.
No, I want to. I know I have not been able to call out. So did I on that same podcast. Again, you look at just the emotion of having all those seniors that had never beat South Dakota State, it being up there, they hadn't had the marker in forever, on and on and on, blah, blah, blah. Like, it just makes sense. And they are a very good football team. But I'm going to stick with my initial prediction that, yep, they took that. And we are now the one that plays for rings. And this is going to go the other way in a big hurry this week, I think. But this is exciting. I'm so pumped to watch that game back up there again. Half thinking about trying to make it up. I'm not sure. I haven't looked at anybody's schedules in my house for the weekend, but God, that'd be fun to be at.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're peaking just at the right time. We talked about it a little bit, and we're in a good spot as a team. I think, looking at their last two games, ACU, they up and down. Obviously, they were down early in the first half, and then last week just didn't seem like it was much of yesterday didn't seem like it was much of a challenge. But, I think anytime you go up there, it's tough. We know it. They got a good atmosphere. They're going to sell out for this game. Raucous crowd, big rivalry, but like our coaches, again, are going to put them in a good spot. We're peaking at the right time. I'm excited for us going up there and beating them. Like, I think that's possible. Very, very possible. Or going to happen. I shouldn't say possible. Going to happen. Like, we're in a good spot, and
I think it's likely.
I'd love to. Yeah, I'd love to go too. It's we live in Brookings. It's a quick, easy drive, but we're actually hoping the baby would come this weekend. I didn't know if I'd make this last game, but we're close. My wife said last night she thought it was gonna. She's like, I think it's coming. Like she had whatever feeling, but so I don't know if I can make it to Fargo. That's probably unacceptable.
Yeah,
that's probably a little risky.
Yeah. What if it comes now? That means Frisco's easier. So like that's
true. Good point.
That is true.
The due date's the 28th, so I was always worried about Frisco. So
yeah. So we do know NDSU is a little banged up on the offensive line. One of their preferred starters is out. Also lost in the game when we played them. If you haven't been following NDSU, Cole Payton is lost for the year, torn labrum. Also, their starting safety, Sam Young. They were supposed to get back Cole Wisniewski. He decided to hop in the portal and is going to Texas Tech now. So again, look back in August, their two starting safeties that they were hoping to have are no longer playing. What other injuries? I know like their cornerbacks have been swapping around quite a bit. They're still trying to find a good combination there at corner, or a truly reliable combination. They're young. They have a couple of young guys. They're very talented, but a little bit different there. And then defensive end, right? So
sorry, did Wisniewski, did he just commit? Was that announced today, or was that a while ago?
Thursday.
Oh,
Wednesday
okay.
Last week.
All right. Gotcha. I saw a bunch of Texas Tech posts about a commit today, so never mind.
I didn't see it, so
yeah. So, anyways, like it's just interesting how their season, they've kind of been banged up. Cam Miller's thrown 3 interceptions in the playoffs after not throwing one the whole season. I think maybe threw one late in the season. Obviously, the big loss to USD to end the game, or then the regular season. So, up and down right now. Chamar Brown's still a stud. I looked at their stats from yesterday's game, and their leading receiver wasn't Roger Nelson, wasn't Bryce Lance, but it was Mekhi Collins, Dallas. Mankato West product.
Mankato West zone. I've heard plenty about it.
Yeah, so he's doing well. Obviously, Braylon Henderson is still there. Chris Harris still there. Joe Stoffel maybe hasn't had the season statistically everyone thought he was going to have, but he's still one of the best tight ends in the Missouri Valley. So, yeah, it's gonna be a good one.
Yep, it is. Ryan says it's going to be a dogfight. I agree 100%. To me, it's not even as much about North Dakota State being dinged up, because we know that they are deep. They can reload. They're very capable of that. They've got the same caliber of athletes. To me, it's more about how well the Jackrabbits are playing right now. And I've been beating the same drum on this for a while, but we have the best defense in the country, and I'm not ashamed to say that. I don't think it's even close. You've got the best offensive line in the country. I don't think it's even close. They've given up. What did I see the other day? That they've given up the least sacks, the least TFLs, and they have the third most rushing yards in the country or something like that. And we run the piss out of the ball with 3 or 4 guys that are capable of doing it. Mm-hmm. So that, to me, those things together, again, stereotypically, what do you got to do to win in the playoffs? Got to play defense, got to stop the run, you got to run the ball. No one's going to run against us. I mean, they're going to try. They've got some great athletes. They're going to move it a bit, I'm sure. But again, I complete confidence in this defense, the ability to stop the run. And then the passing game is clearly clicking at the right time. So this, to me, is going to be one of those games. It's going to be close at halftime. I mean, hell, North Dakota State might be up by a field goal or something at half. But I think that it starts to separate by the middle part of the third quarter, and I think the Jacks win this one pretty handily.
Yeah. In the first matchup, we didn't have Tucker Large either. We've talked about that. We didn't have Kobe Voorhees. We've talked about that. And again, the passing game still wasn't clicking at that point. That was kind of that slump where it just was like, what the hell's going on out there?
Yep.
And this is the first game where we saw Lofton Nagroski kind of step out and make a tremendous catch. And it feels like he's made one of those now every week since then. So that's another good second option. We'll see. I mean, I think Damian T right here is right. We need to cut down on the mistakes this time. Yeah, we shot ourselves in the foot a lot in that one. Credit to NDSU. Again, a very good team, a very good program. They were fired up for that game. I was telling Sam Herder, I'm happy this is an 11 a.m. kickoff and not a 7:30. Like, just, NDSU fans are still going to be fired up. But again, there's something about those 7:30 night games that just the home team, it's just a different energy for those 7:30 night games. I don't know what it is. Anything else, fellas, for this one?
Yeah, I'm with Zach Larson here. He's hoping that Angel will be back. We didn't like you said, we didn't have Kirby Voorhees. I'm really curious if we'll get an update on him or not. But it seemed pretty unexpected because none of us had heard anything, unless it was just sheer gamesmanship by Jimmy.
Hold on, I forgot. I forgot something that I thought was funny as hell from, I don't know if it was pregame with the radio or when it was, but who did the color commentary this week? I'm blanking on it. If somebody in the comments remembers who did color commentary on the radio, let me know. But they were talking about Kirby Voorhees and his running style, and he compared him to Josh Ronick, which I will always continue to bring up because he was my teammate, and Stig called him the best football player he's ever had, and I will always pound that drum how unbelievable Josh was. But he compared Kirby to Josh Ronick, which is pretty high praise. Yeah. And then he referred to them as a tiny ball of hate in the way that he ran, which was so funny to me because I mean, Josh is just, again, 5'7" or whatever he is, but just ran angry all the time. Like he wanted to hurt anyone that touched him. But to hear that comparison and call him, a tiny ball of hate, I thought that was a pretty good line.
Got a question about Maxwell Woods here. Do you think Maxwell Woods will get the green light to make his debut? He only had one carry yesterday, and he didn't get hurt on that carry. So I'm wondering what happened, or, if we just wanted to get Brendan Begeman some run there at the end and kind of limit Maxwell's hits because he's an important return player for us now. I wasn't 100% sure why we didn't see any more of him. He just had the one carry for two yards. So I don't know, guys.
I mean, I think that if Angel's out, we might see more of him. That seems pretty obvious, but if Angel's out, then he's going to get a little more play because I feel like his running style is a little bit more like Angel's. Yep. Maybe more of a hybrid between him and Amar, but haven't had a big sample size there either. So
yeah, true. All right, should we get to predictions? Jake, before we get to predictions, you want to tell us what's going on with JFPA?
Yeah, so again, Jackrabbit Former Players Association, great kind of group that's just again supporting primarily the football program. I think that's the thing that we want to always call out, that everything that we do, we're going directly to the coaches, directly to the team. And I think that's always been very, very healthy in that work. So, the last couple of years we've stood up, the Jackrabbit Former Players Association has stood up what we've called the championship drive. So as we've gotten closer to that national championship game, kind of gotten to the point of using another effort to promote and fundraise for the football program. Again, every dollar, every cent goes to the football program directly to Coach Rogers and team. So we are starting that this year already tomorrow. So that opens up tomorrow. I'll put in the chat a little bit more information about what that championship fund, how you can share with that. But again, exciting times. I think whether you're in the semifinals, national championship game, supporting the team, supporting the program, I think is a healthy thing, a good thing to do. And again, I think we've shown other ways that the JFPA is supported. You look at the Matt Anderson situation, that former player that passed away this year, that family fund that we stood up and been able to give back to former players and his family in a time of need. That's what this does. And that's all it is. I mean, there's nobody buying big coolers or buying big trucks or cool things with this money. I mean, it's literally going directly to the football program. So just wanted to call that out and appreciate the relationship that the JI and the JFPA has. So it's been great.
Yeah. Thank you. All right. Oh,
so somebody had stated that he had heard that Angel Johnson had hurt his ankle in practice, and it looks like that is being refuted by Bree Johnson, who I imagine is somewhat related
to one of the Johnsons. Yeah.
One of the Johnsons.
All right. I believe that's Amar's mom, I believe. So
reading between the lines, yes.
Yes. All right. So let's do game balls or predictions. So I get to go first this week. Offense. Yeah, I know. I get to set the rules here sometimes. Offensively, I'm not prepared. So I'm going to go Mark. Mark, for the record, we didn't bring it up yet, but Mark has the chance to break Easton Stick's all-time FCS wins record.
I forgot about that. That's so cool.
And he's going to do it in the Fargo Dome. So Mark is my prediction. Jake.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm going I was actually kind of thinking about this hard just in terms of the games that Amar's had and obviously Mark in his leadership, but GF Dub, I think just the way he stepped up, that's what I'm going to go with. I think we're going to see another big game. That's going to be the X factor. Unexpected. You got to consider the unexpected here.
Yep. Chad, what are you going with?
Well, I think those are both great choices, and I won't look down my nose at them. And those are two obvious choices for me. But I think a possible X factor, and one of the major X factors in the last game that helped keep us where we were was number 7. So I'm going to go with number 7 as an X factor.
There we go.
Okay.
Chase Mason.
There we go.
All right.
Dallas.
All right, good. I was worried you were going to take my third because I had Mark and then I had GFW because I think we're going to run the ball effectively this game, but I think we are going to do it to open up some deep passing later in the game that's going to create the separation and that's going to win by a couple of scores here. So not Mark, not GFW. I'm going to go with Ogroski, beginning to cement his legacy as a current and future Jackrabbit legend in this game.
All right.
2 tutties.
Like
2 tutties.
2 tutties. Dang. All right.
Wow.
All right. Who are you going on defense then, Dallas?
Defense, so I'm struggling here. I think with lines that are this good, and I know the Furry Cows are a little banged up, but they're always going to be an amazing offensive line. So that to me says the lines neutralize themselves a bit. And if our defensive line can neutralize our offensive line, to me that's a net win because that allows linebackers to run free. But it also means that there's not going to be probably any splashy games by the chain gang. Nothing wrong with that. That's just kind of how this works out, and that's okay. I'm going to take Bach. I considered Van Tol coming in, assuming that he's going to be, playing in relief here and going to have an opportunity. But give me Bach as a senior to send us to Frisco.
All right, Chad.
All this line talk with two former defensive linemen. I don't know if I can pick. Heck, why not? Let's give it to number 52. I think he goes out there.
We'd have courage.
I think he's well. You're saying they have a good line. I agree. They have a good old line, even with a guy out. But I think if you look at the stats, one of the things that's changed recently is directly a result of them missing one of their studs on the offensive line.
Okay.
And so for that reason, give me Jared DePriest.
I love it.
There you go.
They gave up 4 to Mercer, so it's not, it could happen.
And I know they got a good defense. I'm not saying Mercer doesn't, but I feel like ours stacked up against theirs would fare pretty well, if not better.
Yep.
Ours is the best. We've accepted this.
I like our guys. Right? Ours is
There
the
we go.
best. Let's just say it out loud.
Jake, where are you going?
Kobe.
Kobe, which one?
Yeah.
Love it.
Claiborne. I think
All right.
Claiborne, just with the need of this type of game, the energy, the emotion to it. I mean, you got to have a guy like him that's just bang your head against the wall, beat him up.
Jake, I had a realization, and I'm trying to think who you would have played with. Well, honestly, it could even be a high school thing too. But there's always the one D lineman that's 4 inches shorter than everybody else, but has this motor that's just like you turn the switch on and they just go. That's what Claiborne. That's what he's got, but he's not undersized. Like he plays like that smaller guy that just just goes, but he's not that size. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it's spot on. I mean, they're those guys that they just have the smallest hands but the strongest grip, and they just do everything.
Yeah, that's what he plays like, but not that size. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, we had a couple of those guys. We called them just dumb strength. Like Andy Minks, Brian Fishers.
Oh yeah.
Mitch Pontrelli.
Those are some names.
Brian Fisher was a big guy, though. He was a big guy.
Yeah, he played nose guard. He was a good kid. He was at the game this weekend.
We had Travis Aarons, another Jackson grad that was 5'11" probably or something, but played was he 1 or 3 technique? I don't remember. Inside.
All right.
Matt.
All right. I am gonna go with Tucker Large. I was gonna go with Adam Bach because Adam Bach loves to hit Cam Miller, it seems like. I know they were high school teammates.
That's probably why.
But he seems to relish these games against Cam Miller. But I'm going Tucker Large. And my score prediction, I said I wrote it down before the show started just because I've been thinking about it all day. Jackrabbits 24, Bison 13. Someone tell Adam Fritz because he doesn't listen to podcasts. So.
Staggering it in. He's doing it.
Yeah.
It's calling you out, Fritz.
All right. He'll never hear that. Jake,
That's
what do we
true.
got?
21-17, Jacks.
All right. Chad.
I'm right there with him, 21-17.
All right. Dallas.
Oh, look at that score. 16.
27-16, he
Yep.
says.
11 by 11.
Just like
27,
Seth
16.
Meyer says.
Okay.
Oh, Seth. All right. We're on the same page.
Pat
Yep,
Whitty's real close within a point.
Yep. Again, I think it is very, very possible that North Dakota State it's tied or they're up by 1 or 2 at half. And I think we're able to separate.
I think the Bison are already 3.5 point dogs. Aren't they? That's what it came out at.
Did it move? It moved a point already. It was started out 2.5.
2.5. Yeah, that's true. I don't know, Chad. Did it move?
No, maybe I just misread the text. Sorry.
Yeah. Montana State's already up a point from where it started.
That one moved.
So
Give me the Bobcats by 3 scores.
we didn't even talk about those. Yeah. Yeah, agreed. I think Montana State's gonna cruise.
I hope they beat them by 3 touchdowns.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Anything else? Okay. Well, thanks again to our sponsors. Thanks to everyone that showed up tonight for the chat. Really appreciate it. This is always fun. Hopefully we have a few more shows for you still this year. So, Jake, great to have you back. Good luck if you're having a baby this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
New humans are the best.
Family.
I'm jealous.
Yeah.
New humans.
So,
Thanks, guys.
All right. And with that, go big, go blue, go
Jacks, guys.
Jacks.